Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Open Table Sports Podcast, episode 10. I'm Matt here from Open Table Sports. I'm with Dom and Mark right now. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Let's go.
Good. So right now we're going to get into the Manny Machado signing. Happened a little bit earlier this week, but we're going to recap it again. We've talked about it on the daily recap earlier this week. So right now, I don't know. We've all shared our thoughts in the daily recap. You can go back and check that out. We're going to talk about it again now. He signed a 10-year, $300 million contract with the Padres, and he has agreed to play third base for San Diego. What are your thoughts on this, Dom?
Well, I mean, if you guys listened on the daily recap, you realize that most of us are kind of, not happy with this, kind of dumbfounded, think he's dumb. And, that's all we could say. He kind of went against everything he was talking about. He said he hates playing on the West Coast, signs on the West Coast. He didn't want to play third base. He wanted to play shortstop, but he's playing third base. And he's playing for a team that is nowhere near the playoffs. So I'm not sure what the guy's thinking. The money's good, but I guess the money means more than winning a World Series or even playing in the playoffs. So
I can see him getting traded in like 2-3 years. Because if they don't get any other players, Machado's going to get mad. Because I'm sure they guaranteed him more players.
I mean, I saw something about them like now reconsidering on Bryce Harper. Will they spend another $300 million on Bryce Harper? I don't think so. But
that'd be dumb. I'd rather just sign like multiple players instead of just one good one. Because you have like your one key piece in Machado. Do you just want to spend all your money on just two good players?
No, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. They're kind of just it's a mess. And the Padres got one big player. And who do they have to support him? What, Eric Hosmer? Have we even heard about Eric?
Playing very, very subpar since that mega deal that he signed last offseason.
Have we even heard of Eric Hosmer since the Royals were relevant in the World Series? Like, I don't know. Eric Hosmer wouldn't be enough to get me to play for the team.
Yeah.
And then you have Will Myers and Hosmer. They're overpaid. I think Machado's overpaid. I mean, I don't think any player is ever worth $300 million.
I think Mike Trout is, but that's
I don't know.
He's the best player in baseball.
Well, I mean,
he has been for years.
If Machado's getting $300 million, just imagine what Mike Trout's going to get.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think any athlete's more worth that. You know what I mean?
I mean, A-Rod signed for 10 years, $275 million back in 2007. Well, did he really play up to that? Nah, not really.
I don't know. I just think all these athletes in any sport, they get paid too much.
I mean, look at football. I mean, the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks last year, none of them made the playoffs. So are they really, proving their worth? Like, arguably, Brady's, one of the lowest paid quarterbacks and keeps taking pay cuts, and all these other quarterbacks sitting here thinking, I'm the best, so I deserve all the money. So let's prevent,
I heard someone else in that organization took a pay cut.
Let's prevent the team. Let's prevent the team from spending money on other players to help the team and just make them pay me because I'm the most important player on the team.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think about this Machado signing?
I mean, it's definitely not the landing spot that anybody thought. I mean, because the Padres haven't been relevant in years. So the fact that he even considered them as even a somewhat viable option for this just blows my mind. But, I mean, theoretically, it could be good for the Padres. Because, I mean, if they can actually successfully build around him, there's a chance that they might be good in a couple of years, but that's a couple of years. Manny's gonna have to deal with the first couple of years of his contract being basically a rebuild.
It's going to be a rebuild. I know they're in on
relevant in the NL at all.
I know they're in on a couple people. I mean, even if they say they do get Harper, you say they get the rest of the free agents left, they're still not going to do good.
Oh no.
No, I don't know. I know they're in on Gio Gonzalez.
There's just so many holes in that roster that they could try and fill with everybody that's left, and there's still going to be enough holes where they're not going to be able to compete.
Yeah, because people are saying, oh, they have youth, they have whatever. It's like, yeah, but the youth doesn't always translate. And say they're good in the minors doesn't mean they're going to be good in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
And who was it, the White Sox that offered 8 years, $250 million?
yeah.
And that's a more like annual pay than this contract. And he doesn't take that when the White Sox are obviously, a little closer to the playoffs than the Padres are. So I'm not understanding the logic here. Manny Machado, it just doesn't. It blows my mind that he doesn't go anywhere. He can go to any other team and make more sense than the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. As I said, if I were him, I'd go to the Phillies or the Yankees. Probably the Phillies more than the Yankees because, I mean, I don't know. This just stuns me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he literally just wasted his career. And, like, obviously, if he doesn't get traded, like, he wasted his career. Like, if he stays there 10 years, I will be utterly shocked.
Yeah, I've never seen a 10-year contract work out for anybody.
Yeah. Especially with a team like the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy. I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect it. I mean, obviously the Padres are in the running, but I didn't actually think he was going to sign there. So, I mean, imagine if the Giants get Harper, I'm going to be even more shocked. That's going to be the dumbest thing ever.
Yep.
Or if, like, the Padres sign Harper, that's just
If
dumb.
the Padres sign Harper, I feel like they're just going to screw themselves for years to come. Because for 10 years or whatever, they're going to have two players taking up a big chunk of their payroll. So that's really going to limit what they can do ever else to try and build a team that can actually compete.
You're not going to make it too far in the major leagues with only two good players. You're not going to make it too far. Two players aren't going to help you make it anywhere far. And if the Padres want to follow that route, then I mean, hey, nothing's going to change.
And it's not like they have pitching either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some teams will have really good pitching and, like, semi-decent lineup. They have no lineup and they have no pitching.
Their team is literally now just Manny Machado.
It's Manny Machado. Hosmer has some potential. Will Myers has some potential, but it's nothing crazy. I wouldn't even consider that team average.
Yeah.
That's
not even average.
Not at all.
I don't know. Dumb decision, but next we're going to move into Robert Kraft has an arrest warrant out for him because he has 2 charges of soliciting prostitution in Jupiter, Florida. What are you doing, Robert Kraft?
6 rings isn't enough to make you happy?
I don't know. It's crazy. Our tweet blew up today of this news. We were one of the first Twitter accounts, sports accounts, whatever you want to call it, to have it. We have over 6,000 views on it, and we got no followers from it. That makes no sense. It makes no sense.
The way the internet goes.
That's like 6,000 people going to see a movie and not paying for it.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. We need more followers, ladies and gentlemen. If you see our stuff, shoot us a follow. So this whole thing with Kraft, out of the blue, everyone woke up to the news. Well, it was kind of earlier today. If you're on the West Coast, you kind of woke up to it. If you're on like Central Time, you sort of woke up to it. I woke up late. So, I mean, I woke up to it. I don't know what time you guys woke up. But, I mean.
I woke up to it.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think about this Robert Kraft thing?
I mean, I don't even know what to think. I mean, he's one of the most prominent figures in not just the NFL, but sports in general, and you've been so good with the Patriots over the last, 20 years or so. You've won 6 Super Bowls. I mean, I don't understand how you can even risk having this come out or get caught doing this. It's really going to hurt his reputation.
Yeah, no, he's not too smart. And as the reports are still, coming out, there's apparently a bigger name, involved.
I think it's Tiger Woods.
I don't think it's Tiger Woods. Bold prediction. It's not Tiger Woods. But, we might find out here later while we're doing this. So I think Tiger Woods is, smart enough to, learn from his mistakes in the past. And now he's getting success. He's coming back to old Tiger in the PGA, he's contending for, titles and majors. I don't think he'd do something so silly to just kind of throw that all back away.
I don't know. His career's on I don't know, he's not like his prime anymore. It's not 2004. So, I mean, Is he really like have a lot to do? Why would it be Tiger? Because Tiger lives in Jupiter, Florida. So he's there. He's not really like married or anything. He doesn't have like a lot. I don't know. He's just not doing a lot now. Like he's not in the prime of his career. He's not like, you know what I mean?
I mean, I see where you're
He
coming
has a
from.
lot of free time on
Yeah.
him.
I do see where you're coming from, but I don't think he'd be dumb enough to kind of do something like this again. I just don't think he would go through all that again and throw away what he's done the last few years and his comeback. Just don't think he would do that. I don't see that.
There were a lot of names involved, so there might be multiple big names.
I mean, imagine if it's someone like Tom Brady.
Now he's married. He's got Giselle. He's got the kids. There's no way it's Tom Brady. And if it is Tom Brady, I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know what I would. Like, I'm not even a Patriots fan. Just as like a sports fan and following sports, seeing something with Tom Brady and him doing that, I would probably sit in my chair for the rest of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if it was going to cut out.
Maybe Gronk.
I didn't even think about that.
Gronk could have gotten crazy,
Party boy.
you know.
He's a party boy.
I agree. It could be Gronk. I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, I guess that kind of forced him out of the NFL, you know? Not force his retirement, force his hand, you know?
I mean, he's already on his way out. So, I mean, we're expecting his decision in a couple weeks, I heard.
Yeah.
Of if he's going to retire or go to movies and whatever he wants to do. But this Kraft thing is crazy. There's going to be more developments today. We'll have them on Open Table Sports. If you're listening to the podcast right now later, we go live on YouTube. So if you want to get this quicker, just join us on YouTube because we know some people listen hours, couple days after. So if you're listening on the SoundCloud audio or the regular audio, just go to YouTube Live and you can watch us.
And you know, you ask questions right here, and we'll answer them right now. Like we're
very quick with it.
We're in an interaction here.
Shout out to Dean for watching right now, sending in his questions. We have no halftime viewer mail today because no one sent anything in. So I mean, whatever. But we're gonna move into some more football now with players and not owners getting a happy ending. Steelers did not tag Le'Veon Bell, and he will become an unrestricted free agent. Dom, where's Le'Veon Bell going? I know we've talked about this for weeks on end. Give me your pick again.
All right, well,
Since we have to talk about it because now it's official.
Yeah. No, the Jets, number one. It just seems like the best fit. But, you know, there have been some reports of him, you know, like gaining, 25 pounds, over the season,
Yeah, we talked about that last
not
night
playing.
on the daily recap. Go back and check out the daily recap for February 21st. Make sure you watch those. We do them nightly. Some nights we can't get to it, but most of the nights we do it. So make sure you check it out. It's about 20, 30 minutes. Dom and I, we went for 45 minutes the other night.
The two of us.
We just went. We were killing it. And that was a good segment. Go back. What was that?
Yeah.
The 20th, I think it was.
Yeah.
February 20th daily recap. Go back and check that one out. Steelers not tagging him. It was kind of coming, but as Mark said before the podcast, it's now official. So we kind of have to talk about it again when something becomes official. I don't know. I still think the Jets, maybe the Texans. I know you said Texans or Jets. Kind of
Jets, and then if not them, then I think the Colts. But
Colts maybe. I think the Colts. Well, they have Marlon Mack. I don't think and Naeem Hines. I think they're fine at running back. I think they're going to be spending most of their money on the defense.
That would make sense.
Because I get that Bell is the best running back in the league, but you have a sound running back in Marlon Mack. So why spend unnecessary money when you can put it into something useful like the defense?
Yeah.
Because the defense is more of what they need. They might go out and maybe they draft a wide receiver because I think they do need another wide receiver on that offense. But
I can't do it himself.
They're fine with Eric Ebron at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're fine at quarterback with Andrew Luck. Their offensive line was top three this year. They went from probably one of the worst to one of the first.
Quentin Nelson was a
He
huge
was a monster.
And that right tackle from where'd they get him from? Temple or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, those rookies.
That redhead, whatever his name is, the right tackle. He'll be making a name for himself. We'll be talking about him more, I promise.
Yeah.
But they had a good offensive line. The only thing I'm really worried about for their offense is just wide receivers. That's it. So I think they're going to draft a wide receiver. Maybe they sign one. Maybe they sign Golden Tate. Who knows? But I think most of their money is going to be set into the defense, that defensive line, linebackers they're really good at. I just think they're going to go secondary and a little bit defensive line, but mainly secondary.
They could use another guy to rush the passer with Jamal Shearer.
Yeah. I think that's what kind of got to them in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
They
sure.
just didn't get to Mahomes,
Mhm.
and that just kind of
yeah.
killed any shot they had.
Yeah.
Timberwolves center
really-
Karl Anthony Towns is questionable Friday versus the Knicks after he was in a car crash on the way to the airport.
Well, it's not like they'll need him to beat the Knicks, so
I don't
they'll
know.
be all right.
I don't know. They might. I don't know. Whatever. But what's all these athletes getting in car crashes?
Yeah, no,
Demaryius Thomas, he was in a car crash. The past couple of years, we've seen, like, I think John Cena, even though he's not really a huge athlete.
Cam Newton did.
Cam Newton, Steph Curry did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of athletes.
I guess
that
it's
get in
just,
car crashes.
it's just human. This is life. Anyone can get in a car crash anytime, any day. It happens. Just because you're an athlete, professional athlete doesn't mean you're immune to all of that stuff.
WWE has officially released Ty Dillinger. We talked about it earlier on the daily recap a couple nights ago. He has now officially been released. We're going to be adding more WWE to our podcast, to our content. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, we're still going to put it out there.
Because we're open table sports.
We're open table sports.
We're all sports. We're not just one of them that just talks about football, basketball, baseball.
And then that's it. We talk about everything. We've been adding more golf. We said last night we're going to add more WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be adding it all, ladies and gentlemen, for Open Table Sports. As Big Daddy, he likes to call us the cream team. Shouting him out right now. Go follow him, Big Daddy GOC, which stands for the Guardian of Chaos. And he tells it like it is. And I do a podcast with him every Tuesday, sometimes Thursday nights. We record. We are not live on YouTube. I'm trying to get us live on YouTube, but they don't want to. I'm with Mario Mancini and the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. Go follow that podcast, the MCK podcast, Mario Chaos and the Kid. I'm the Kid. That's my alias, I guess you could say. But I mean, Dom's heard the podcast. He's a big fan. So next we're going to get into Landon Collins, likely to be franchise tagged. Could lead to a holdout. I'm sitting next to two Giants fans. I'll let you guys go at it right now.
I'll let you start, Mark.
All right. I mean, I want Landon Collins to stay in New York.
I think every Giants fan wants him to stay in New York.
It would be stupid for the Giants not to try and keep him. And I mean, I haven't really heard much on a deal being made. So I mean, we would have to franchise tag him.
Yeah.
It obviously guarantees a salary for this upcoming season, but I mean, if he's going to sit out for the off season for training camp, I mean, we got to get something done. We have to get it done very, very soon.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that something needs to be done, but I didn't, like I said last night in the daily recap, I didn't expect to see Landon Collins kind of like be iffy like this.
Oh no, not at all. I was really, really shocked when I was seeing that he was clearing out his locker and
there was multiple reports. Like I saw one tweet. It was like I think Josina Anderson broke it out. She was like, "Oh yeah," so he like cleaned his locker out and he was saying goodbye to his teammates. And then I think Paul Schwartz came in and he was a local Giants beat reporter, and he said, "This is all fake. That didn't happen. His locker's still full." And then Landon Collins went on to respond to that by saying, the stuff in there is what I don't need."
Mm-hmm. I was like, I mean,
so I don't know if Landon Collins is just saying that. I think he was just kind of saying that to prove a point that he'll walk if need be. Mm-hmm. But I think he's just bluffing. I don't think he's going to actually leave. I think he'll be in a Giants uniform come week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, it's going to be difficult. Maybe we have to restructure some other players' contracts to give Landon Collins what he wants, because I'm sure he wants a long-term deal now. He doesn't want the franchise tag, and he wants to get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And I guess he's willing to just hold out, not go to training camp or anything until something's done.
I understand why the players would hold out, but sometimes it affects their play at the beginning of the season. Because, if you sit out for a month or 2 months or however long you do, when you come back, you're not ready, like physically and mentally, to get back into the grind of an NFL season.
Here's an example. We're going way back to 2007, but Michael Strahan decided to skip training camp because he was still mulling over the option to retire before. But then he's like, you know what? Let me just go out there for one more year. He missed training camp, and he looked just slow and out of it, weak the first couple weeks of the season. And then it didn't take till a while till they, got, going.
Dean said Giants are dysfunctional as fuck right now. Sorry for the profanity. Russell Wilson to New York for Odell Beckham Jr. would benefit New York. But that wouldn't benefit the Seahawks. Yeah, they get a good wide receiver, but they lose their top quarterback. So, I mean, unless you send Eli with it, unless you do OBJ and Eli just for Russell Wilson, I could see that happening.
I mean, I love Russell Wilson, so I would love for him to come to the Giants, but I don't see that happening.
I feel like that's too big of a trade. And I don't know, that's an even trade, but I feel like it's just like.
Yeah, I don't think that Wilson would want to leave Seattle. The only reason why I've heard this is because his wife is Sierra, and she would prefer to live in New York, which makes sense if you're an entertainer. Seattle's not New York.
Hey, those wives get, they sometimes they get top priority. So
that is true.
If the Giants and Seahawks were to strike up a deal, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't see it happening, but it'd be crazy if it did. I still think Eli Manning's going to be the starting quarterback come week 1, and I think that right now is their best option to win football games. And maybe contend for the playoffs.
Yeah. There's not really a quarterback that the Giants are like, oh, we absolutely need him like right now, and like he's going to be the guy.
Dwayne Haskins is going to be that guy, man.
But he ain't going to start as a rookie.
Not now, but.
But they see everyone's talking about, get rid of Eli. Just dump Eli. But who's out there that's a better option than Eli?
I don't know.
Not really anybody.
I don't know. Well, I would say, what did he say? He said no. Eli is their best option to go 5-11. Go get Haskins.
But
Haskins to learn.
Yeah, but Haskins needs to learn. He needs to grow. That's the thing. Because I was about to say, yeah, you can get rid of Eli, but then
who's going to start next season?
Yeah, who's going to start? I would never push. Like, look what happened to Darnold. He didn't learn. Well, yeah, he still had what's his name?
Josh McCown.
Yeah, Josh. You're not learning too much from him.
I don't like pushing rookie quarterbacks right into playing. It rarely has worked out.
Like, look at Brady and Rodgers. They didn't. They walked in because their, starting quarterbacks got injured.
Yeah.
So I mean, they weren't supposed to start.
And so we draft Haskins, but if we get rid of Eli, then we have to get a quarterback for 1 year. So are you really going to want to pay Foles for 1 year? And I know that Foles does not want a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Like what?
Unless you trade for Case Keenum. I said that on the podcast a couple weeks ago.
I do not like Case Keenum.
I see why people would say that just because Shermer's the head coach of the Giants, but it wouldn't necessarily make sense.
Keenum didn't do that well with the Vikings that 1 year.
Yeah, but for like a holdover type of thing.
But Eli is the best holdover.
I don't know.
He's got 1 year in his deal. It would make no sense to cut him. It wouldn't save you any money. Just play him.
I don't know. He knows cut Eli for money reasons.
But he knows the system now. And Eli's getting better and better every year. This past year, he didn't do that bad.
You're only going to be giving up like a 5th rounder for Keenum anyway. You're not going to be giving up a 2nd rounder or
that
1st
rounder could be huge for the Giants.
I don't understand the hype around Case in Minnesota. Well, he had a few games. That was the thing. He had a few good games. He got them to the playoffs, which is good. They should have went to the Super Bowl, but I mean.
Yeah, it was just that season.
Should have they went to the Super Bowl? No, I don't think so. They should have lost to the Saints, and the Saints would have beat the Eagles. But, that's the story of the Saints. The Saints should have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Keenum, though, is that people think that he played so well two years back.
I didn't think he played so well. I think
the Vikings defense was so good that he did just what he had to do to just let them win. It's not like he really had to play super well because that defense was absolutely phenomenal.
And he played pretty good. I wouldn't say he's like a top starting person, but if you needed someone for like a year or two just to hold your team over while you're having a rebuild, he won't hurt.
It's just there's no reason to bring in a guy for 1 year. You already got Eli
for 1 year.
For 1 year, and Eli is your best shot. He's got the experience. He's got everything you need. I mean, people want to blame Eli for last year, but the first half of the year, the offensive line was the worst offensive line in football. He got hit by week 12. He was already sacked more in the season than he was in his whole career in a season. And then you come to the end of the season, and the defense just falls apart. The defense is just atrocious. Couldn't finish a game in the fourth quarter. It was god awful.
Yeah,
it's stupid. Blame anyone but Eli. But Eli's a quarterback, so blame Eli.
And it's not even like the Giants' offense was terrible last season. In the NFC East, which had two playoff teams, in the Cowboys and the Eagles, the Giants scored the most points in the
whole
division. So it's not like Eli can't get it done. And you saw after the bye week when the offensive line gelled.
Yeah.
You saw the Giants put up 30+ points, 3 times, I think?
And they hadn't done it in the whole, 2017 season.
I mean, it's not, and Eli can still make all the throws.
Yeah.
Just not necessarily maybe as far. But then you look, there was against the Colts. He threw like a 50-yard pass to Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
That traveled the entire distance through the air.
Yeah.
So it's not like his skill set is falling off. It's just he's getting older, so he can't do it as consistently as he could before. Yeah. But it's not like he's out there throwing 8 touchdowns and 30 picks and warranting being benched and not starting.
And I love how we saw. People want to say this and that, and they talk about Eli. His touchdown numbers were down, but that's not because he was doing bad. They got Saquon Barkley, so it took some of the load off of Eli. And I love how Eli coming. He's already working. He's already working for next year. He's one of the first players on that team consistently throughout the season, and he's already doing it now, working for next season. You gotta love the mentality of Eli. And he's not going to stop until, he's done. I think Eli, realistically, he still could play for another few years. There's no – I don't to the end for Eli.
No, I don't either. I don't.
And I've heard, the locker room saying they should pass on a quarterback. I don't know if that means they want Eli or that means they want to trade for a quarterback. But I think, if need be, they don't have to get rid of Eli ASAP, but I mean, they might not have to, but they might want to try to, get the future rolling now.
Yeah.
Considering their position they're in.
Yeah. Well, that's it for football today. You guys were going off on that. It was a good segment right there. Next, we're going to get into the NHL and their playoff outlook. Dom's going to take us away for that. We've seen, obviously, everyone's pick for the Stanley Cup is the
Tampa Bay Lightning.
I don't know how much you follow.
A little bit.
Yeah. I've gotten into NHL more this year. So, I mean, probably because my fantasy team is 19-0 right now, and I'm going to be moving to 20-0 because I just creamed this fool. I was on FaceTime with him last night. I scored 50 points last night on fantasy. I have 109 points, and we still have to go through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Balling.
Now, the first thing I need to start with, the West is atrocious. The fact that the Chicago Blackhawks are in the playoffs right now is just
Patrick Kane, man.
It's just hey Patrick. We could be hearing Patrick Kane's name being the MVP this year.
I don't know. It would be Kucherov or Kane. I think it's going to be one of those two.
Just the amount Patrick Kane has done for his team is insane. That team is god awful on paper, and Patrick Kane's just leading that team. And they're in the playoffs now, which is it's incredible in my opinion. The Blackhawks have gone on in their last 12 games, they've won 10. That's insane.
And they've been averaging over 5 goals a game.
Yeah. And then you got the the Kings being in last place in the West.
They're only
still not
5 games out.
They're still not out of the playoff hunt. But because if you look,
I mean, even though we're selling the team right now.
And if you look, the Rangers, if you put the Rangers in the West, they'd be 1 game out of the playoffs instead of 6 in the East, which is insane how bad the West is and how competitive the East is. But still, the Lightning, the fact that they have an 18-point lead over second in the East, That's 9 full games. 9 games separating first from second.
You think the Sabres are making it, Mark?
I mean, being a Sabres fan, you deal with a lot of bad teams. But I mean, if you had asked me this 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I probably would have said yes. But now I'm not so sure. We've fallen back to the level of play that you would expect from the Sabres.
I definitely expected this from the Sabres. I mean, the Sabres had a good start. Now they're kind of coming back to reality. This season is still better, I say. It's still better for the Sabres. I think, to their standards, they're not last. They are, realistically, they're still in the playoff hunt. I mean, they're out of the playoffs right now, but they're not out of it.
I just got cut, everyone. I got cut on the chair. I'm suing my own company right now. In the Open Table Sports studio here.
Hopefully you can pay yourself,
Yeah. I don't know. Rangers are out of it. Kings are out of it. So, I mean, Sabres, they're in it. So, at least he's got some stick in the game. So, I mean.
Talk about a surprise, though. The Calgary Flames. They're first in the West.
They have 4 players above 20 goals, or above 25 goals this year. That's insane. I was looking at stats the other day, and I don't know how they're doing so good this year.
Yeah, no.
I honestly don't know.
It's a team you didn't look at. You don't look at them as that team to be a top team. But, I mean, just looking at their record, at home, they're 19-5-5. Along with the Sharks, they also have identical home records. They're doing really good, as Nashville really came into the season as the favorites in the West, and they're third. So anything can happen in that West. Obviously, the top teams, I can't pick a true favorite in the West. Just how bad that – if the East lets the West win the Stanley Cup this year, that'll be embarrassing.
Well, the only team that's going to win is Tampa Bay, you know what I mean?
I mean, we've seen the top team getting that President's Trophy as Tampa is going to get, unless they have just this major collapse. But the President's Trophy winner usually never goes on to win the Stanley Cup, which is ironic because last year the Capitals didn't win the President's Trophy, and they had won it multiple times before, but they would get bumped out in the second round all the time. And then they don't win the President's Trophy, and they go on to win the Stanley Cup. So maybe, that President's Trophy isn't the best thing to get.
Yeah. It's almost like getting the cover of Madden.
Yeah, you get the curse. And,
True.
Yeah.
The Madden curse just lives on.
I know, it's pretty obvious pick. I think the Lightning are going to win. They have a great goalie, great scoring, top scoring team in the NHL this year. Even their defense is good.
They
have everything going for them.
I like to call them the Tampa Bay Rangers because, they keep taking the Rangers players and then they just keep
got
using
JT Miller, Ryan McDonough. Who else do they have?
Oh, man. The only one that matters is Ryan McDonough. I miss Ryan McDonough so much. He was the captain. Big loss.
I used to have him on fantasy, then I dropped his ass.
And now the Rangers are about to, lose, Kevin Hayes, Matt Zuccarello, the whole team coming up with that, would make the Stanley Cup Finals and all that stuff, are gone. It's just going to be a whole new team. It's a tough time to be a Rangers fan. You're not used to seeing them play losing hockey like this.
Yeah. Even the Kings, we were supposed to be pretty good this year. After getting Kovalchuk, we were supposed to be he was supposed to put us over the top. But then I think our key thing this year is Jonathan Quick doing terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could be age. It could just be poor defense.
Injuries.
Injuries
has been his major thing. But who knows? But right now my pick for the Stanley Cup is Lightning. I could see maybe the Flames picking things up. But right now it's the Lightning. But a couple teams are in the hunt. Blackhawks are that shocking team. Maybe they make a run.
The Blackhawks are on a roll. I think anything can go down in the West. So if they could just even sneak in with a wild card, I think they're ones to watch out for. Get it back to when the Blackhawks and the Kings were the two dominant teams in the West. I mean, obviously the Kings aren't going to do it this year.
Maybe next year.
Because, from 2010 to 2015, they just take turns in the finals.
Yeah.
They just went back and forth. And then ever since the Kings and Rangers met in the finals, both those teams kind of just went down.
Yeah, they shit the bed. Yeah. But stepping away from the NHL right now, a little bit of a breakdown. We don't want to talk too much about it because we're going to be talking about it, weeks to come. We're obviously not in that playoff season, even though we're on, the back nine of everything. We'll be talking about more in the coming week. Right now, we're going to get into a little bit of the NBA. We haven't talked about it yet. So Anthony Davis and Jrue Holliday, both players for the New Orleans Pelicans, they're going to play on a minutes restriction for the rest of the season. We kind of saw this coming, a little bit weird. We talked about it the other night on the daily recap.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see them trade Jrue Holliday at the end of the season? I think he might be a free agent. Let me check that out for you, Dom.
All right. Well, I think it's just, again, as I said in the daily recap, it's just not, it's just stupid in my opinion. Fans are coming out to see these guys, play, and they're not even, I wouldn't even say they're out of contention for the playoffs. They're just gonna bench them because they're not playing next year.
Man, free agency for the NBA this year is gonna be crazy. Listen to these top players: Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Jimmy Butler, Nikola Vucevic, Tobias Harris, Kristaps Porzingis, Chris Middleton, D'Angelo Russell, Eric Bledsoe, Marc Gasol, Julius Randle, Al Horford, DeAndre Jordan, Nikolai Mirotic, Bogdanovich, Derrick Rose, Goran Dragic, Malcolm Brogdon, JJ Redick, Harrison Barnes. Like, this year is crazy. Why do they have Paul Millsap at 28? Danny Green, Ricky Rubio, Enes Kanter, Isaiah Thomas, Hassan Whiteside. They have him at 40?
Yeah.
That's disrespectful. Rondo, Jeff Teague, Dwight Howard. This year, I don't know. I haven't seen a year this stacked in free agency for any sport, I don't think.
No.
I don't think. But this year, the only thing for baseball was just Machado and Harper. Yeah, there were some other players, but I think it lost its fire because it's been so dragged out.
Yep.
But this NBA free agency is going to be wild. And then you add in, maybe Davis getting traded or Jrue Holiday getting traded. Like, all these players that have asked for trades.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
that's
gonna be
going
a lot of movement.
there's going to be a lot of trades. So, watch out for that. But
Playing time for two guys like that, especially Anthony Davis, it's just a joke. What does that say as an organization? Like, you have 6 games out of the playoffs, and you're already calling it quits. You're gonna fold up for the year. That's just silly, in my opinion.
yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a little bit weird to see Anthony Davis in another jersey. But that Pelicans team is going to be awful for the next couple of years. But I don't know. This whole Anthony Davis thing is weird because they looked pretty promising.
Yeah.
They got Jrue Holiday. When they had Rondo, they had Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins. They had some Solomon Hill. They had some good pieces. Now they're just trading everyone away. But we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it's not too bad. Blow ups and people calling each other. Sometimes that stuff will happen. But I don't know. Where do you think Anthony Davis goes?
As a Laker fan, I obviously want him to go to the Lakers, and I know that he's publicly said that the Lakers are one of his top choices to sign a new contract. So that's always going to play a very, very large role. And when you can have the opportunity to go and play with LeBron, I don't think anybody would necessarily pass it up immediately.
Yeah.
So there's always the Lakers. I've heard maybe him going to the Knicks.
I think that'd be huge for the Knicks.
I think the Knicks, even though he said earlier he didn't want to play for the Celtics, now he says he does want to play for the Celtics. I think that's kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Even what his dad said about the Celtics, I don't think he's going to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he goes to the Lakers because they don't want to give him to the Lakers, especially their asking price and what they did to the Lakers.
Yep.
I think the Knicks is a likely landing spot. Maybe you get Davis, Kyrie, and KD. I know they only have 2 max spots, but maybe we see some cap workout for them.
Because unlike the MLB, you can really do something with 2 or 3 big guys on a basketball team.
That's 60% of your guys that are on the court at one time.
Because you take Anthony Davis and, say Kevin Durant, like that's enough to get them into the playoffs, I think. Because, look at James Harden just carrying the Rockets. I mean, they're a little off right now. They're fifth in the West. So, I mean, it could be getting a little slow. It could be running out. I don't think, again, it could, James Harden can't take the Rockets through the West, like in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, no. There's no way that he can keep up what he's been doing for the last two months. He keep it up for not just the rest of the regular season, but then the playoffs, which is an extra month and a half. If they go all the way to the finals, there's no way that he can physically keep this up.
Yeah, I don't think he can take down teams like obviously Golden State, Denver, or OKC.
Oh no.
I don't think he can beat them in a 7-game series. He's going to need some help because, and where's his help?
Well, they didn't really do that good in the trade deadline either. They didn't add any, but they don't have any trade pieces as well. Getting Capella back is going to help them though.
Yeah.
Adding Kenneth Faried, that was pretty good.
He's been really, really big for them.
I know, I have him on fantasy.
Over the last month or so.
He's been killing it. So we're going to move into, we'll talk about the NBA playoff outlook a little bit later, but we're going to talk about should basketball players be able to be drafted out of high school again? They moved the draft age up to 19. They proposed it to be back moved to 18. Do we see it? Maybe. I know it's hockey, Don.
I mean,
so do you think they should move the age back down?
I think that they should. Because with most sports you can be drafted when you're 18, except for the NFL. But I mean I think that it should be an option because you look at like say baseball, right? You can be drafted right out of high school, but if you still want to go to college, you can. That's completely up to you. I think that maybe if the NBA made it kind of like that could probably work out. But having players needing to be 19, it really just wastes an entire year, because they're going to go to college, but it's not like they're going to college to go to college. They're just going to college so they can waste that 1 year and then go to the NBA.
Yeah, it's almost a waste of time. Like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm. And you look at Zion on a Wednesday night, he got hurt 36 seconds into the game.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like I said on the daily recap, I feel bad for anyone that paid over $2,500 to watch Zion, get injured in the first 30 seconds.
Like, just think if that injury was more than just a knee sprain. If he tore anything, that's a huge blow.
Yeah,
that would definitely hurt his draft stock. But it's just anything can happen in that 1 year, and if NBA teams want you when you're 18, I don't see why you should be forced to waste a year where you could risk getting injured and possibly ruin the chance for you to play in the NBA.
Yeah, I think they should move back down to 18 because they're taking spots away from actual people who want to go to college. Like these kids, they don't want to go. They just want to go to the NBA. They know their worth. They already know they're going to be good in the NBA. So I think, if you want to go to college, go. Do you think it's going to benefit you? Do it. But I think if you enter the draft and say a team, like, I think you should go. I think they should have a rule that if you enter the draft, you can still go to college if a team says to you, or if all the teams say to you, which probably won't happen, like, hey, go to college type of thing. Grow a little bit there. But I do think college helps the players going from high school to the NBA. That's insane. Having 1 year in college really helps. So, I mean, I don't know. I think they should lower it. What do you think, Don?
I think they should too. It's just, like you said, it's just taking away spots, people that want to actually go to the college. Like, he's just going to the college because it's Duke, and then, it just, he wants to play on a good team for the year. It's just silly. Like, I think basketball is a lot different than football. I think football, it's smart. You have to go for at least 2 years before you can go to the draft.
For sure.
Because it's just two different games. It's more physical in football. And just, again, what is the point of going to college for 1 year just to go to the NBA after that. Why not just go straight to the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
It's just stupid. It really is.
I don't know. So I don't know. They just lowered the 18. There's really not much to say about it because it's been a huge debate. Obviously, the past couple of days, it all sparked to Zion Williamson,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of, that type of stuff. Dom, I heard you got some news out of the NHL right now.
So the Washington Capitals have acquired Nick Jensen from Detroit, and it was from Madison Bowie and a second-round pick in 2020. I think this will help set up McQuaid, and now you'll see some. And also Matthew Shane, he was traded. So now teams are going to start looking at Kevin Hayes and Matt Zuccarello. So look out for that here this weekend.
What we have in our daily, I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about in the coming days for the NHL. So we'll keep you posted on that stuff. We keep you posted on everything, and I'm sure we can all vouch for that. Is Open Table Sports keeps you updated on everything. Whatever you need, ask the question, say, hey, I want more of this. You got it. It's fine. Just make sure you shoot a follow. So next we're going to move into the NBA playoff outlook. There's really not much to talk about because the Warriors are going to win the championship. If they don't, I'll be shocked. I think the only team that can take them out in the West is OKC. I think Denver can give them a run for their money, but I don't think they could beat them. I think a team that can officially beat them, I'm not saying they will, I'm just saying they have the best chances in the West is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Paul George has been an absolute monster this season.
Yeah.
And never sleep on Russell Westbrook. I mean, people just kind of don't talk about him now because they just expect these triple doubles.
Mm-hmm.
I think this year they're a lot better than they were last year. And I mean, anything can happen. I think the Warriors will still come through. But look out for Oklahoma City. Definitely don't sleep on them.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Now, one thing I do need to start seeing, I need to see the Knicks keep losing more games, and I think we need the Suns to start winning more.
As we said on the daily recap, anybody but the Knicks.
The Suns need to start winning more because the Suns and the Knicks have 11 wins, and
Suns have two
more losses. So the Knicks need to catch back up and lose 2 more games, and the Suns need to win more. So the Knicks can have a shot at the
I think if the Suns have the first pick, I think they're going to get the kid from Murray State.
You think so?
What's his name? John Murray?
Mm-hmm.
Jamor, whatever his name is.
Something like
I don't know what these names are, but Jamorant, whatever, how you pronounce that. Jamorant, John Morant, whatever it is.
Something.
Find an easier first name than J.A. What is that? J, whatever it is. I think the Suns are going to pick him because I need a point guard. I don't think they're going to pick up Zion because I see him more as a small forward in the league.
Mm-hmm. You think the Knicks go Zion?
The Knicks will get Zion.
Just imagine Zion, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving.
Kevin Knox as well.
And Kevin Knox.
Mitchell Robinson.
What a crazy starting 5 and a 6.
Mitchell Robinson. People sleep on him, man.
Yeah.
He's a good player. But NBA playoff outlook, I'm not going to say much about it because I'm not watching the NBA this year. I just think the Warriors are going to win, and it's very boring. I've only watched 2 games this year, and they were both games that I went to, and they were both in Orlando. It was Orlando Magic versus the Spurs and Orlando Magic versus the Rockets. So those are only 2 games I've watched this year because I'm on a boycott from the NFL or the NBA this year.
I think
you guys can go at it.
The bottom of the East looks interesting. I mean, you've got the 6 seed Nets right now, all the way back to the 10 seed Miami Heat, all separated within 2.5 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it'd be really cool if the Heat made it to the playoffs this year. One more, playoff appearance for Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
I think that'd be pretty cool. Sure. But, you've got Brooklyn, Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando, and Miami all in the hunt. Washington's on the fringe, but, losing John Wall, that kind of ended their season. And then in the West, honestly, I mean, the real talk is, can the Lakers get back into the playoffs? I know you're a Lakers fan, so what do you think?
All right. So last night we had a big win against the Rockets. That's where we needed to start. But the only thing that might affect that is with 24 games left for the Lakers, they need to play all 24 like a playoff game.
Mhm.
You know, so if they do end up making the playoffs, it'll most likely be as the number 8 seed. So in the first round, they're gonna have to play the Warriors to start everything off, which is not gonna be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I heard something about LeBron said he's already turned on playoff
Oh yeah,
mode.
yep. LeBron's all.
I don't know how they won last
already
night.
ready.
I don't know how they won. Like, I'll follow the scores and stuff like that, and I don't know how they came back. I don't know how they did it at all.
I watched the first half of the game, but since they were playing in LA, it started at 10:30 at night, so I was passing out by halftime.
Yeah, Dom and I were usually up till like 3.
Yeah, because sometimes the biggest sports news happens at 2 in the morning.
Sometimes it does. It does. But
there was something last week or a week before. Something broke at like 2 in the morning. I think it was a trade or something big happened in the NHL. And
the Tobias Harris news came out like really
Tobias
early.
Harris. Yeah. So you never know. The sports world is going on 24 hours a day. So you got to be up for most of it.
Open Table Sports is a 24-hour operation, ladies and gentlemen. So I mean, NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs. I keep messing that up because I don't talk about NBA anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like, other than the podcast, I'm not talking about NBA because I don't care this year. It's so boring. I don't know. The main thing that killed me was them being able to sign DeMarcus Cousins for $2.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like them signing him for literally nothing.
And that's the difference of my mindset. I think Cousins went in there thinking, "Let me get myself a ring." And then you got people like Manny Machado thinking, "Let me give me some money. I don't want no ring. Let me get the money. Money means more."
If I were a pro athlete in any sport, it makes no sense why people would go for the money before championships. Because when you're on a shitty team, I don't care if you're making if you're making a butt ton of money, but if you're losing, why would you want to keep losing? It's not fun. It really is.
I don't know. You kind of have to go for like the money first, because like if you go for winning and then the money, you're too old at that point for a team to pay you like that. So I mean, it's kind of a little past due for him to get a 10-year deal, because he's like 27 now.
Yeah.
He should have gotten a 10-year deal at like 23, 24. But I mean,
at that point, teams don't necessarily know if you're gonna.
That's
be
the
that
thing.
good.
So I mean, there's so many variables that go into this. So I mean, I don't know, but NBA, the Warriors are winning this year. There's really no debate about it. If you say another team is winning, you're likely stupid.
Once the playoffs come, that's when I stop watching games. I just follow the scores.
See, I'm the opposite for this year. NBA, I was into. That was my top sport. Now I can care less about it.
Like during the regular season, I kind of only watch the Laker games when I can.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I just follow what's going on. But once playoff comes, the Lakers haven't been in the playoffs in 6 years now, so I don't even have a reason to watch in the playoffs. So in a sense, it's been the same 2 teams in the finals for the last four years. It just gets boring. So once that comes around, I just check in like once every night just to see who won.
So like college football, I'm getting bored with this Clemson Alabama stuff, and just Alabama as a whole. I don't know. Really bored with it. But we had no viewer mail today because no one sent anything in. Thank you for Dean for being active in the comment section.
Appreciate it.
So now we're going to just jump to the rundown. Tigers signed infielder Josh Harrison to a 1-year, $2 million contract. Orioles signed infielder Alcides Escobar to a minor league contract. Mets signed infielder Adeiny Hechavarria, whatever his last name is, to a minor league contract. Brewers signed infielder Mike Moustakas to a 1-year, $10 million contract. Reds signed, I'm talking about the Brewers too much. Reds signed utility man Derek Dietrich to a minor league contract. Damn, these players get minor league contracts.
Yeah.
Indians signed relieving pitcher Tyler Clippard to a minor league contract. Twins signed, this happened today, utility man Marwin Gonzalez to a 2-year, $21 million contract. Do the math on that one, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10.5 for 2 years, or for each year for 2 years.
Yeah.
White Sox signed starting pitcher Irvin Santana to a minor league contract.
Another one.
Bruce Bochy will retire after the season, most known for his stay with the Giants. Senators traded forward Matt Duchene and defenseman Julius Bergman to the Blue Jackets for forward Vitaly Abramov. These names in hockey, I say this every damn week. Forward Jonathan Davidson, 2019 first round draft pick, 2020 first round draft pick. I don't know how they got that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know
Some
how.
players mean a lot, and they'll do everything you can in hockey to get that player you want.
I don't know. Oilers left wing Ryan Spooner was traded to the Canucks for center Sam Gagner. Sabres, here we go. Defenseman Marcos Scandella placed on IR with an upper body injury. Bruins right wing Ryan Donato traded to the Wild for right wing Charlie Coyle and a 5th round pick. Kings left wing Carl Hagelin traded to the Capitals for a 2019 3rd round pick and a 2020 6th round pick. Flyers defenseman Radko Gudas suspended for 2 games for high sticking on Lightning right wing Nikita Kucherov, most likely MVP for this year. American
JB Holmes.
JB Holmes. That's an easy name right there.
Yeah.
Won the PGA Genesis Open at
14 under.
14 under par. Rory McIlroy leads the WGC Mexico Championship at 8 under par. World number 1 Naomi Osaka lost her first match since splitting with her coach. Okay. Denny Hamlin won his 2nd Daytona 500 earlier this week. McDonald's will sponsor Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace at Atlanta. All right. I don't know why McDonald's would ever sponsor any athlete.
I mean, they've been a sponsor in NASCAR for time is gone.
Come on, they're not athletes.
I think they're more.
The
athletic.
car is the athlete, ladies and gentlemen. Atletico Madrid upset Juventus 2-0 in the first leg of the
UEFA.
I call it UEFA crazy. Champions League round of 16. Gail Monfils beat Stan Wawrinka. I know that one, Dom. I'm getting it. In the ABN AMRO World Tennis Tournament Final. The Bills released tight end Charles Clay, and then the Cardinals, having a great offseason, signed him on a 1-year, $3.25 million contract. Great deal, I think, there. Bengals hired Lou Anarumo as their defensive coordinator. He was the former Giants defensive backs coach. Bears released tight end Deion Sims. Saints released safety Kurt Coleman. The Buccaneers signed running back Andre Ellington. The Jaguars released kicker Kai Forbath. And the Jaguars also declined tight end Austin Seferian-Jenkins' 2019 option, and he will become a free agent. So the Jaguars are going to have a lot of cap money. That's it for the Open Table Sports episode 10 podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, go back and check out the daily recaps throughout the week, this past week. Next week, we're going to be having more. This is the episode 10. Tried to go big. This week in sports was actually boring.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be big. Football, there was nothing. NBA, there was nothing. NHL trade deadline wasn't as big as we thought this week.
Well, let's hope next week we'll get, more NHL trades that we'll be able to talk about. Maybe Bryce Harper will sign.
Hopefully. I thought we were going to have more baseball signings, but I mean,
it's better than what we've been having the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Again, we want to give a shout out to the University of Bridgeport. This is the Open Table Sports Studio on the campus of the University of Bridgeport. We'd like to thank our partners at Fightful.com, Boost Oxygen. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been the Open Table Sports Podcast.